And here we are back again for another edition of Trey's Chow Down Live here at the TSCCN studios. And with me today I have Chef Pittman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. What's the AQ stand for?
Anastasia Quinones.
Yes, I couldn't say it. That's why I asked you that.
Yeah, it's easier to shout through the kitchen, or it's stuck in college and
So, AQ.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it when I saw it. It sounds regal when you say,
I had a roommate that was from New York, from Buffalo, and the poor professor was French, and he was trying to say my last name, and she's like, "Just call her AQ. It's fine. It's fine." So it just stuck, and anytime anyone's fumbling through my name, I get just to say AQ. It's fine.
It does sound regal, but the other name sounds does too, but I can't say it. I've learned my Texan. I can't. It's hard for me to pronounce a lot of that name. So I don't have that role like when Jose was here.
Yeah.
The way he said taco, I wish I could say it like that. He makes the word sound so good.
Well, yeah.
So where are you from originally?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so you're from Dallas.
Born and raised in Dallas, Texas.
So you said, did you live in New York?
I did. I went to school at the CIA in Hyde Park.
Oh, great. Yeah. And that's 2 years? 16 months, 2 years?
16 months.
16 months, yeah. Mm-hmm. And did you do internship in New York?
No, I did it in Florida. So we did the Boca Raton Hotel and Resort. Because I wanted to get kind of training for all aspects and not just kind of line. I wanted to see what it was like to work in a garde manger station, room service, and the beach resort and all that. And I was able to go through all the stations in the short amount of time.
I think that's very smart.
Yeah.
And, I tell a lot of people that sit in that chair. My family owned restaurants for almost 100 years, and I was in it for all my life.
Yeah.
And I always anytime my dad or anybody would put something on a desk about somebody wanting to go to work for us because they went to college, I'd say, let me see how much experience they have.
Yeah.
College is fine, but in the restaurant and the service business, the college is, and I like people to be smart and be intelligent and finish something. That's fine, but in the restaurant and service business, you gotta have some experience.
I always say that college taught me why things happen,
right,
but didn't show me how it happened.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very important to get into a kitchen immediately. A lot of my classmates did the bachelor program, which was more of like the financial side of it, which is also super important when becoming a chef. But for me, I was just so eager to get into a kitchen and just start applying that knowledge. Like I knew what my reaction was, but I hadn't really gotten to see it. So going into a hotel and being able to cook on a station in a restaurant, putting those techniques to work was more important for me.
It's what you said that because there's a difference between a chef and a cook. A chef wants to do everything and be an owner and run everything, and a cook wants to do it for a paycheck.
But yeah, sometimes. I mean, it depends on like what you run into. It's there's a big difference, and I think that line is getting a little blurred now because you get a lot of thanks to like Food Network and blogs and Instagram and people seeing pretty pictures and they think that's what a chef is. And on the way down here, I was talking to one of my cooks about labor and percentages, and I was like, "This is what we do. This is why I sit in front of my computer sometimes and trying to fix the numbers and figure out what we need to do to make things work. It's not just a fun special on the weekends anymore."
No.
I wish sometimes. Sometimes I wish I could just work the line and put my head down.
And everybody thinks it's fun to own a restaurant, or it's not. So you said something. You hit on something. You said labor, and so I never a chef. I did everything operation. I built stores. I tore them down and remodeled them. Operational wise, as far as food, food costs, labor costs, training managers, all that kind of stuff. I did that, but I never was a chef. So I started at a very young age on the financial background side of restaurants. And so everything was always about numbers.
Absolutely.
So you hit on a good thing there because you said about numbers. And if you're going to be a chef and own a restaurant, that's super important.
You have to know how to cost your foods. You have to know how to manage labor. It's like I said, it's not just putting up a pretty special and posting it and getting likes. It's knowing how much that product costs you before you even put it on the plate. How much are we going to get in return when we put a number on the menu? It's all about numbers as well. It's not just kind of putting your head down and making pretty food anymore.
And what's funny too is that it used to be you didn't have to worry about social media. Well, there was no such thing as social media.
Yeah.
So what happened is you added a whole different dimension to owning a restaurant.
Yeah.
A whole different dimension. So you have business side, you've got the cooking side, you have the chef creative side, you have the restaurant operation side, front and back, and now you've got this whole dimension, which each one of these is a little chunk, but social media is a huge chunk because you have to do all the social media correct or you won't drive traffic.
Yeah, I think it's just changed the way that chefs plan, I think, on a weekly basis. For me, it's changed because whereas I would print out a menu and do specials Thursday through Friday or Saturday, someone would have to come in, see that menu on the table, and then tell somebody else. Now I post a picture and 1,000 people can see it. And, I'll get a message that the next day saying, do you still have this? Do we still have this coconut ceviche that you posted yesterday? I was like, well, I was just playing with that. I don't have it yet. I'll get there next week. But so it's interesting to see how much, the industry has changed when it comes to adding social media. It's a whole other audience out there that you don't get to reach by walking into the restaurant.
Nope. And what's funny is that I don't think you can grow your business anymore because a lot of people depend on social media, especially the younger generation.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that when someone tells me, oh, social media doesn't work, I'm going to say, well, if it doesn't work, you're not doing it right, because it does work. It drives the hell out of your business.
It absolutely works.
Yes. I watch all that, like the pop-ups that travel around the country. There's some people that have pop-ups that we do in San Francisco and LA and New York. And it's neat because they drive everything from social media. Either Instagram, Twitter, that's it.
Yeah.
So
we just brought a guest chef. So we do a guest chef series every month where we bring chefs from different parts of the country and parts of Mexico. And the last chefs that we just brought on were from LA, and I followed them 2 years ago on social media.
Yeah.
And that's how we met. And we would kind of trade tips back and forth, but we never officially met. I didn't know their last name. I didn't even know where they lived in Los Angeles. I just knew that I really respected what they were trying to do.
Sure.
They don't have a brick and mortar, and they don't really want one right now because what they're doing is very fruitful for their life.
Sure.
And so I thought, let's bring them out. I want to learn something from them. Hopefully they can learn from me. And I'm not just going to copy their stuff off Instagram. I want them to come and teach me.
Sure.
So we brought them out, and they did an amazing job. And
that is so neat.
Yeah.
See that, but sometimes too, if you do that, that's what I do. I follow chefs, and that's what I did for you. I was looking at your food and stuff, and I really love some. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first of all, we haven't talked about it yet. I normally do it chronological, but since we got into everything on your restaurant's Jose, and tell everybody about it real quick.
So Jose is named after a fairly famous ceramic artist in Guadalajara. I say fairly just because he's super humble.
Wait, say that word. Say the city again.
Guadalajara.
Yeah, I can't say it like that.
And the owners, Brady and Hannah and their family, would travel to Guadalajara and just have a really good time and eat at all these, really well-known restaurants and some hole in the walls as well. And they just fell in love with the food and the environment. They met Jose Noe Suro, who is a ceramic artist, and just fell in love with him and his family. And he really is a truly remarkable person, humble and just very sweet. But he's also super talented and very famous when it comes to his pieces, which he does plateware and whatnot. And they said, you know what, there's nothing like this in Dallas. How do we bring this to Dallas? And they kind of collaborated and decided to open Jose. They reached out to me initially, and at that point I was working on another project, and I said, no, thank you, but no, thank you. I'm doing something else.
Starting a brick and mortar is a big responsibility.
It is it wasn't just that. I didn't know enough about the concept. I didn't care to really know much about it at the time because I was so kind of busy with the other projects. So later they reached out to me after I left the Cedar Social, and I said, you know what, let's sit down and talk. And we sat for 4 hours, and I said, the first thing I want to do is come and eat at the restaurant and see, because I'd never even driven past it. I didn't know anything about it. And I went and I looked around, and I remember pulling the manager aside and I said, you guys are really busy. This is crazy. And he looked around, he kind of, was like, nah, this isn't very busy. So we went back and talked, and I was like, you guys are doing great. Your numbers are great. Everything. What are you doing if it's not broke? He said, we're not what we wanted to be originally. What we wanted to be was, just kind of elevate Mexican food a little bit more. We know that that's what you do. I said, well, you're probably going to, make some people angry because your food's really good.
That's what happens.
And he said, you know what? It's not what we originally set out to do. It's not our ethos. It's not what we wanted. It's fine. Just do what you do and don't upset anybody.
Well, you can't do that because people hate change.
Yes.
I don't care who they are. If they've been coming to for 6 months, they hate change.
Yeah.
But you had the foresight to do that, which was neat.
Well, I wanted to pull numbers. Again, it's all about the numbers.
Sure.
So I didn't go in. I mean, 10 years ago, as an eager chef, young chef, I probably would have been like, erase everything. I want my food and I want to be the star of the show. But, I've learned a lot over the years. And I, at the end of the day, we have to make money. And, I pulled the numbers. What was making money? What wasn't making money? What was popular? What wasn't popular? I talked to the guests. I talked to the servers. And we kept the favorites. We kept what everybody loved. We kept what people, I would get emails and text messages from people who loved Jose and said, please don't change this. If you remove this from the menu, we will never come back. So I had a lot of responsibility.
A lot of engagements.
Making people happy, but at the same time staying true to what I do and what our culture creates. So it was kind of scary at first, but now everyone is just loving, the environment and the atmosphere.
When
and the
did
food.
you make that transition?
December 3rd last year.
Okay. So you made the transition, and what's amazing to me is that you said you're as a younger chef, you would have done something different.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So I was just fixing to say that you learned that. I learned that the hard way too. Because my dad bought lots of, we would buy restaurants that people, were bankrupt, and we'd make acquisitions, we'd fix them. And when I was younger, I'd be like, no, it's my way. No. But as you grow, first of all, you're trying to find your own identity. So you had to find your own identity, your own niche in life, and how you're going to make it work. And what you said was perfect. You kept the things, you did your homework, and you kept the things that were good. I'm sure you elevated those too as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then you put the new things. What was the biggest thing that they liked? What was the thing that they liked the most that you remember?
Enchiladas. They're Park City's enchiladas, which, I didn't grow up with creamy sauces or Chipotle. It was kind of a Tex-Mex thing. Yeah. But we elevated it in the sense that it's now filet with peppers. They're sauteed to order. We're rolling them to order. We're not holding them hot. It's something that's made fresh to order. And we just tweaked the sauce a little bit. Nobody noticed. Everyone noticed that there was a difference. They noticed it was
delicious, didn't they?
Yeah, they noticed it was something was delicious. And I remember just having this feeling in my stomach, like, oh my God, I can't believe we're selling these. But, as time grew, I'm just like, this is amazing. People love it. And that's what matters the most to me.
You touched on something just when you were talking, and you're so passionate what you do, and you're so good at what you do. You were talking about real fast, and I want people to understand the difference. So when you say you said you hand roll the enchiladas, when you go to a lot of places, they're pre-made already, correct?
Yes.
So elaborate on that a little bit for me.
I think, when it comes to higher volume, I mean, don't get me wrong, we are high volume. Yes. When it comes to high volume restaurants, it's very easy. They have bigger menus,
right?
And they pre-batch things, which a lot of restaurants do, whether it's beans or rice or sauces, and that's very simple. But when it comes to tortillas, we make our tortillas in-house. So if we were to pre-roll those and let those sit, they would crack, they would get stale.
The flavor changes dramatically.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I try to make my menu as efficient as possible so that when we do have 20 tickets in the window, it's a lot easier to execute one at a time as opposed to 10 tables at a time, where now your food's sitting in the window, you're waiting. So it's more important for me to kind of take our time when it comes to plating, as opposed to rushing to make a whole bunch of one thing that's going to sit around for a little while.
The dishes I've seen plated are absolutely beautiful. But you're right. The longer it sits in the expo, every 30 seconds it sits in the expo, the flavor changes. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Dying.
And the consistency, you're right. It's dying. Slow death, isn't it?
Slowly dying. Yeah, painful death.
So you hand roll that. Everything's made to order. Mm-hmm. What is the most favorite thing at your restaurant that you like to make for people?
The carnitas.
The carnitas.
Oh my gosh. There's two. There's the aguachile, which is kind of taken on a world of its own.
Say it one more time.
Aguachile.
Aguachile.
So aguachile is so what we do first at Jose is, what I try to do is take something that you can eat on the streets and elevate it. So you close your eyes and you imagine you're sitting on a stool in the middle of the street in Mexico City or Guadalajara or Cancun. You're eating street food, but you open your eyes and there are servers waiting on you, and there's a host greeting you, and you've got great cocktails and an ambiance and a beautiful plating in front of you. And that's all we're doing. We're taking street food or traditional classic dishes and just elevating it. That's it. French restaurants do it. Italian restaurants do it. Japanese restaurants do it. Mexican food deserves the same thing. So
Sure it does.
I do that a lot with aguachile. And so aguachile is basically a fish that's cured in lime juice quickly, and it's usually shrimp, and it translates directly into chili water. And normally that's cucumber, lime juice, and some sort of spice, so jalapeno or serrano, cilantro, and salt. And that's it. And you pour it over, and it's really spicy, but it's got a brightness and the sweetness from the shrimp, and it all kind of comes together. So what we do at Jose's, we'll take tuna instead, ahi tuna, we'll take the acid out. So instead of lime, we'll use grapefruit, or we'll use mango or pineapple. And instead of the chili, we'll do habanero or bell pepper. So we just kind of take the components that are in season, that are being given to us by nature right now, this day, and replace it and plate it in whatever I feel like at the moment.
But it was great what you just said. You said you want people to close their eyes and that's you know what that is, right? That's passion.
It's familiar flavors.
It's familiar flavors, but it's your passion to make people feel that way.
Well, I don't want people to be intimidated by the food. It's definitely not what I intend to do. The food can be a little fancy and nicer, presentations, but it's not by any means fussy or to be intimidating. It's just showing a level of respect for the food that I've been taught and the food that I've learned growing up, to make it look in a way that I've been classically trained to do.
Did you when you were growing up, did your mom cook? Did you?
Yeah, my mom. It's an interesting story. My mom came to the United States in the 70s, and she basically knocked on doors in Highland Park looking for work.
Wow.
She met a Southern woman who was kind of in a tizzy because she was having a dinner party that night.
Oh.
And she's like, well, can you cook? And my mom lied and was like, yeah, I can cook. And she's like, Southern food? And she's like, yeah. And so they had a dinner party, and I think she had to cook something fried, like chicken fried steak or fried chicken, and it was raw. And she was so upset. She kicked my mom out, and at the end of the day, they made up, and she worked for my mother for a really long time. And she was basically her, her private chef, housekeeper, groundskeeper. And she took care of her. She traveled with my mom. My mom traveled with her, took care of her kids. They would go to Disneyland and Disney World in Denver, Colorado, and, really took care of my mother. When she passed, she vowed to help her buy a house. And that's this house that we live in today in East Dallas. But she learned to speak and cook English by watching Sesame Street and Julia Childs.
Wow,
so
that's a great story.
When she was growing up, she was young when she was growing up in Highland Park. She didn't bring home the traditional Mexican dishes that a lot of young Mexican children are used to. So we didn't eat, enchiladas and mole and fajitas. We had, eggplant parmesan and chicken tortellini and things that people were eating in the 80s, and chicken a la king. That's what my Mexican mom made for me. So when I would cook for friends and be like, oh, this is Mexican food, they're like, no, it's not. It's like, what do you mean? My Mexican mom made it. And we're in, Dallas, Texas. This is what Mexican people make. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of times we still get guests 10 years after trying to, do this with this cuisine. People will say, well, this isn't Mexican food. And it's seldom. In the beginning, it was very, very frequent. Now it's not as frequent, but I'm just like, we eat artichokes in Mexico. We eat asparagus and Brussels sprouts just as well. It's not.
Yeah. And they're good.
Yeah. And, Mexican food is not just meaty and cheesy and saucy and spicy and roasty.
You know where they get that impression from? Tex-Mex.
Yes.
And Tex-Mex is not, to me, it's never really been a classification. It's just something that people have taken to make a concept out of.
Yes. Yeah. I think, again, you take what is in your environment and you create dishes with it. And that's what I do with my aguachile. And that's how Tex-Mex became Tex-Mex. It's, people in Texas wanting Mexican food, but using the ingredients that they have available to them, and they create Tex-Mex with it. It's very different, but I feel like they each deserve their own respect.
So you said seasonal. So do you change your menu seasonally?
Mm-hmm. Every 3 months.
Every 3 months. So 4 times a year, basically, you get it. Mm-hmm. 4 times a year, you get a menu change. Mm-hmm. That's phenomenal too. A lot of restaurants, the upper end restaurants do that, but a lot of restaurants still don't do that. Spanish restaurants, so Mexican restaurants.
I think it's important we try to use as much local product as possible and work with the farmers that we have around us. Once you get into like November, December, January, February, it's very difficult. But we still want to use seasonal if we can get it as close to us as possible. But it's also important so that my cooks don't get bored. You know, you're in the rat race, you're just busy, and you're making the same thing every day for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Monotonous.
It could be very monotonous.
Yeah.
And I want to keep them engaged. I want them to learn new things. I want to empower them to teach me things about what they ate growing up. And it's respecting Mother Nature too.
That's a great idea because they don't get bored, they don't get frustrated, they don't want to quit. And it's hard to retrain somebody nowadays. So when you have somebody, you need to retain them.
Absolutely.
And that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you keep them. Do they bring you things? Have they are they getting to the point to where they're starting
They
to help
do
you?
start to brainstorm. We actually talked about that on the way here. My morning sous chef. We have a taco that changes every couple days or every day depending upon, what we have available or what someone brings to me. And she's in charge of mornings. And here recently, she will send me ideas on what I think about. Are you okay with this taco? Or what do you feel about this? Or what combination can we do? So it's just exciting to see that light bulb for her, to see her excited about wanting to
take that initiative.
Yeah, take the initiative.
Yeah.
And it's empowering. It's all about empowering her to be the best that she can be.
Not only that, they're part of the operation.
Absolutely.
And I think when you do that, when they all do that, it becomes a family.
Yeah.
It becomes a family affair
Yeah.
in a sort of way. In the kitchen, a culinary family affair.
Yeah.
Which makes for better operations.
Yeah. And we get everybody's opinions. It's not just like, this is what I want, this is what I like. It's important for me to show them, ask for everybody's opinion, where nobody's above criticism. We all can use a little bit of it.
Oh,
positive
everybody.
criticism.
I learn stuff every day.
Yeah.
And you know what I always touch on this because the restaurant and culinary scenes have changed from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s in the kitchen and the atmosphere with the front of the house, back of the house. People used to work out of fear in kitchens. You know, the chef's going to fire me. He's going to yell at me. He's going to throw a pan at me.
Yeah.
And now most of them won't put up with that anymore. Now it's got to be people working together in sequence.
Yeah. I mean, I worked in those kitchens in San Francisco for sure. I lived in San Francisco for 4 years after culinary school.
I lived in Marin for 2 years.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's expensive.
Very.
When you're a line cook making $10 an hour, I mean, it's almost impossible to afford the lifestyle that San Francisco offers. So after about 4 years, it was time to come back home.
It's beautiful, but at some point, and the culinary delights are awesome, and the views are beautiful, but at some point, I used to love to watch the seals and stuff, but at some point, when I pulled up, and I had a motorcycle, when I pulled up and I saw that gas was $7 and something a gallon in Marin, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
It's time to go.
It's time to go.
Yeah, I left when the economy kind of crashed in 2008, and we were doing $250 tasting menus, and we would sell the night out, and then after that happened, it was maybe 25 covers, 50 covers. It just got slower and slower, and I knew it was time. It was time to come back home.
When the economy turns down, the first thing to go is that elaborate
those
stuff.
Luxuries,
Yeah, luxuries, yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. I was there a lot. I was there, the 90s. It's funny, different time. So what is you have cocktails, fresh cocktails too at Jose, correct? Mm-hmm. What is your favorite cocktail at Jose?
The owners always kind of give me crap about it, but I'm not a huge tequila fan. I'm a really bad Mexican for saying that because I don't know very many Mexicans that don't like tequila, and I just didn't have a great appreciation for it. I prefer gin, but the tequila that we use it's just so smooth. Yeah. And we have like 138 something tequilas.
Okay, wait, 138 tequilas. Mm-hmm. Tequilas, have they not changed? 30 years ago, they were all just harsh and just
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've always been the same, but America hasn't really appreciated what tequila. It's become more of a craft now.
Yes.
I mean, it's always been something craft in Mexico, but I think we're now coming around to like, wow, this deserves a little bit of attention, and people are noticing it more.
I wanted to learn about it, so I watched a 2-hour deal on it because I'm all costly 7 days a week because what I do, report on food and chefs and stuff. Yeah. I constantly want to learn stuff. Mm-hmm. A year and a half so ago, I watched them harvesting. How they harvest those. That's
it's
neat.
Insane.
And pulling them out and whack them in the shovel. It was fantastic.
Yeah. It's
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And it's not just a shot. I mean, it's something that you have to appreciate. If you're going to make a craft cocktail with an excellent tequila, the tequila really has to shine. It's not just throwing back 99-cent margaritas. I mean, we charge premium for what we have, and I mean, my favorite's Casamigos because
Casamigos.
it's got a tiny little bit of kind of a vanilla flavor to it, which is excellent in our margarita.
So it's a tequila Casamigos. So do they smoke with a vanilla type wood or something? How do they get that flavor?
I haven't asked.
You haven't asked.
I'm
okay.
scared to ask because I know someone's gonna have like a 3-hour story for me, and
you don't have time.
I don't know. It just the flavor. I like it. It hooked me, and I don't taste any of the other stuff. But it's one of my it is one of my favorites. And then there's mezcal and sotol, and there's more. I mean,
what I was just fixing to ask you. So I know mezcal a lot. David Hollister, friend of mine, is a big mezcal guy.
Yeah,
big mezcal guy.
It's just taken over. It's just. It's
what happened? It was. I swear it was like overnight. It was like 5 years ago. Nobody talked about it. Now it's like boom. Everybody wants to talk mezcal.
Again, I think it's just one of those things where people are respecting the craft more. I mean, there's a lot of work when it comes to mezcal, and there's a very small area that can grow it, and there's just more appreciation.
It's pretty smooth.
I think in Dallas there are 2 bars specifically that I say are responsible for the growth and the appreciation of mezcal, and that's Las Almas Rotas, which is on Expedition, and they're amazing, and then La Viuda Negra, which is on Fitzhugh, and they're both mezcalerias, and
Can you say those
amazing.
names again, please?
Yeah, Las Almas Rotas,
Okay.
which means the broken souls,
Okay.
and then La Viuda Negra, which is the Black Widow.
Oh wow, those are 2 cool names. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
and they're amazing bars.
But sometimes the Spanish the Spanish names that translate to English sound so neat,
Yeah.
so storytelling.
Yeah.
But in Spanish, if you don't ask the question,
Yeah.
then you don't know what it means.
Yeah.
It just sounds good. But those are good stories.
Yeah, they're great bars, and I think they played a very integral part in kind of expanding the knowledge of what mezcal is in Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have 130, you said?
Over 130.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any dishes you use to cook? Do you cook any tequila, any of the dishes?
Not currently.
Okay, just the drinks, just cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
So is the craft cocktails a big part of your business at Jose?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think Mexican food and margaritas go hand in hand, and I know that sounds what's the word?
Chef Beto will tell you they do.
I mean, I just think they go hand in hand. Like, I don't want to eat, tacos without, if I'm going to have a drink, it's going to be a margarita.
Yeah.
I just think they go hand in hand.
Have you had that nitro margarita at Chef Beto's place?
I've seen it a million times. My husband was the chef at Luck, or the chef owner at Luck.
Right.
So every time I would kind of go visit him, I'd pass by it and see it all the time.
My girlfriend says it's the best one she's ever had.
It's pretty fun. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
It's just flavor. Okay. I did not go to your husband's pop up at that was awesome.
Yeah.
What was that place called?
Hot Sweets Patisserie.
Hot Sweets Patisserie.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a long drive for me. We got up and I said, "We're going. I want to go to this deal." And it was delicious.
Did you wake up at 6 a.m. for that?
I wake up, believe it or not, every day at 2:30 or 3 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Because I have to do I do social media between 6 and 7 hours a day, searching for restaurants, dishes, chefs, things going on, new trends, not trends, what's closed, what's not closed. So I get up super early and do all my social media before I leave the house or when I get to the computer. And then I got up that day. I got up at 1.
Oh my goodness.
And did until 5. Then we left the house at like 7.
You had to have been ready for a nap after that.
I really was. I don't sleep much. But that was great. We loved it.
Yeah.
Yes. Was he there?
He was there. That was his show. I was just his, I was his errand girl. So
I looked, they were busy. I looked back in the back and everybody looked at me. I was wearing these white glasses.
Yeah.
And all the guys looked up at me and they were all looking at me.
They recognized you.
Well, I love the white glasses.
Yeah.
I try to be a little different.
Yeah.
at times,
Yeah. But it's your trademark. People, they won't mistake your identity for sure.
No, they won't. They won't do that. That's for sure. So that deal went really well. So has he always been into the pastry or the sweet type deal?
No, he actually did a taco pop-up because they do, it's kind of breakfast hours. So he did a taco pop-up.
Right. But we had one of the tacos. It was a colorful one, right, that we had?
The one that you had was a concha. It was the Mexican sweetbread. breakfast sandwich.
Yeah.
So it had cheddar cheese and a fried egg, and
It was good.
and with salsa. Yeah.
And we had some other stuff they made there. It was neat.
Yeah, they are awesome. They're good friends.
People standing out the door. Well, we got there and there was no line. And 5 minutes we got there, all the way out the door to the tent.
Yeah. They are pretty popular because they do beignet pop-ups.
Yeah.
So they don't normally have them on their menu. So once a month they'll make beignets. And
did I get a beignet too? I think I got one.
Yeah.
I think I bought like 3 or 4 things.
Yeah.
So you brought some food today.
I did.
Okay, can we get? He's gonna bring the food in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured it's a little chilly outside, and our pozole verde is nice. It's got a nice like brightness and spiciness with chicken and then hominy.
Right.
And we top it with a crisp, kind of cool lettuce and radish and onion and cilantro, and it's really, really popular. And then the other thing that's also really fun to eat is our street style elotes. So we grill the corn and then we mix it with a little bit of lime, crema, and then cheese and a little tahini.
So this one right here, I'm going to lift it up a little bit, the camera, I like everybody to see it. Got an overhead camera up there, so when you see it, looks great. So this one is called?
Pozole verde, so green
verde.
pozole.
Okay, so and can you take me through the steps how it's made?
Yeah, so it's tomatillo based, so it's the green tomatoes, rather than pozole rojo is a dried chili based.
Okay.
So it's almost like a green salsa puree,
right?
But a little thinner with thinned out with chicken broth.
What's the flavor profile difference in the green and the red?
The red is dried chili based, so like pasillas or guajillo, depending upon what you prefer. And then this one is green tomato based.
Okay.
Rather than
I like green tomatoes, but isn't it crazy? Just a little bit of time can change the profile on the tomato.
The thing I love about these are the acidity of them, and it just kind of everything comes together. Yes, everything comes together with the chicken and the hominy. Add a little bit of cilantro, and it's got a good kick to it because poblanos right now are spicy for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's got a little kick to it.
Have you noticed, and some of the chefs have told me this to come in here, have you noticed the regular jalapenos have gotten less hot?
They have. And
what happened?
We don't use jalapenos because of the inconsistency. We only use serranos.
So what do you think's happened? You think they've such a wide demand? They're not consistency's not
Yeah,
good?
I think they're pulling them too early maybe, or they're just being overproduced and the seeds aren't as spicy as they used to be. But we only use serranos, and those pack a punch.
Yeah, they
do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and this is the corn, right?
Yeah, these are street style elotes.
I'm gonna put this right here. I'm gonna lift this up.
We take whole corn, grill it, and then shuck it, and then saute it in a pan with a little bit of butter, the crema, the Mexican mayonnaise, which has a little bit of lime in it, and then cotija cheese on top.
Which cheese?
Cotija cheese is, I would say it's very similar to like a queso fresco, but it's aged a little bit longer, so it's more of like a Parmesan flavor. It's a little funkier, which adds a little bit of salt to the sweet corn, and then tahini, which everybody loves. It's the chili powder that you often see on margaritas or beers or micheladas.
Chips, they put it on chips, yeah.
And then just a little bit of lime.
I've been the last 2 or 3 years. I've been on a cheese. I've been testing different cheeses. Mm-hmm. I mean, lots of them. I mean, I eat cheese all the time. It's phenomenal to me if you have a dish and certain cheeses, how much salt is in a cheese versus another cheese. Yep. And if you salt that food, it's so salty you can hardly eat it. Yeah. It's amazing the different amount of salts and stuff in different cheeses. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. Change the whole flavor profile.
Yes.
I've been trying to teach myself about cheeses, the old school, the eating it way.
Yeah.
I didn't go to culinary school, so which one of these? I love corn. So which one of these? Which one sells the best? Both sell good.
I mean, when it's kind of gloomy and rainy and cold, this sells really well for lunch, and everybody orders corn for dinner. I mean, it's on almost every table. It's just a popular dish, and it's familiar and.
But it's got a flavor. People just like the flavor.
Yeah, I mean, I think the success of a dish relies on, 4 or 5 things. It's acidity, texture. There's got to be some sort of texture, heat, sweetness, if you can get those 4 things in a dish in any capacity, I think you've got a successful dish.
Where do you get your creativity for your work? If you could tell me one thing, where's your creativity? Does it come from art? Does it come?
There's so many. I mean, it just really depends on. A lot of the times, it's the weather. What does it look like outside, and the season. What's available to me right now? I know I have watermelon available to me, but I look outside and it's 36 degrees. So I don't want a watermelon. It's not in season. It's not going to be at its peak like it would be in July or August. So I take that into consideration first and foremost. And then what do I feel like? Do I want something comforting? Do I want something hearty? Do I want something light? I read a lot of books. I follow a lot of restaurants on.
I think it's important.
Yeah,
because you can follow it. You can see what everybody else is doing. Maybe you don't have to take their ideas, but you can mix and mingle. You know.
And my husband, we bounce ideas off each other back and forth. So
yeah. So let's say let's talk about your husband for a second. So your husband, this is beautiful, by the way.
Thanks.
I want to go back to the creative part in a second, but your husband's very creative too. He's also a chef.
He is.
A little bit about him. And hang on, were y'all both chefs when you met?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We met at Trinity Groves. I was up for the next LTO chef.
I love Trinity Groves.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite places to go. If you haven't ever been to Trinity Groves, it's a phenomenal place. They have all these restaurants in a one spot. You can walk around, drink, start a restaurant. I just love Trinity Groves.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. So that's where you met.
We met there, and we were both recently out of relationships, and we just instantly became friends. We had so much in common, and we just never thought that for a second that one of us would be sweet on each other. Because I was just so enamored with him and what he did and his talent and his knowledge as a chef,
Yeah.
and he was too. And one day it was National Margarita Day, and I was like on the patio with my good friend Uno, who owns Chino Chinatown.
Right.
I look
up.
I
love that place.
Yes.
I love that place.
I look up and he's sitting there, and I was, I'm going to go say hi and ask him out for a drink. And he never showed up. But I give him so much crap about that now. But we just had so much in common, and he's just such a good person. He really is a good. And I'm not saying that because he's my husband. I felt that way before we started dating. He's just a really good person.
So when are you two gonna put your creativity together and have your own place? Have you thought about having your own place?
No.
No. Was it hard to work? Would it be hard to work in a restaurant?
I have a hard time bossing him around outside of. Like in the kitchen, outside of the kitchen, pick up your shoes, go pick up dog food, whatever. But in the kitchen,
it's real life. When you're not in the kitchen, it's real life.
It's difficult for me. I don't want to step on someone's toes. I don't want to offend him. I don't want to get upset because I'm very direct with my, the way that I want things done, and my staff know me for that. And I don't know. I just feel weird kind of bossing him around in a kitchen.
If you're going to communicate in a kitchen, an atmosphere that is fast paced, you better be straight to the point.
Yeah.
You can't hint about anything. You got to be bang. You got to hit him right in the face. I mean, especially when you got an expo full and you got 30. I don't know how many tickets. What's your average tickets when you're busy?
It's maybe 20.
20. Okay.
Yeah. And I love him. I want to stay really happy.
Yeah. So
I don't want to rock the boat.
I understand
happy.
that. But also too, just in general, kitchen environment is intensifies as business
intense.
As business goes up.
Yeah.
Tension goes up.
He makes almost every meal at home. He's a way better home cook than I am. I mean, I don't say that because I don't want to cook at home. I say that because he's so talented, and he really takes time, and his whole deal is comfort food. He makes such amazing comfort food that he just wants to give us, me and the girls, nurturing great food, and he takes so much time and patience and care into it.
That's neat.
That I just let him.
Well, also too, sometimes people don't want to do the same thing at home they do at work. So
absolutely,
I got to get him on the show too. I was thinking about that before you were driving over here. Okay, so back to the creative part. So what has been your most favorite dish you've created from up till this day right now? What's been the most favorite? It doesn't even have to be at Jose, but the most favorite dish you've ever created, your most memorable dish.
I want to say the flauta taco because it's not something that you would expect to be in a taco. For the tacos de tacha portion of our menu, it's got to be something creative that you think outside of the tortilla. So I've been making flavored masas for almost 10 years now.
Okay. Hang on. For people who don't know what masa is what you make tortillas with.
Yeah, the mix.
The mix. So you make the flavor yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
And then so they're colorful and bright, but they also have some flavor to them. Excuse me. And so for Taco Libre last year, we wanted to do something different that no one had ever seen. And I don't know, we had tostadas left over that we don't use, which are the small, like almost like nachos.
Right.
We lightly fried them, added some chicken, added some cheese, rolled them up, and then fried them again so they're crispy. But then we added a black bean tortilla. It's a flauta dish,
Right.
which is the crispy chicken taquitos, I guess,
Right.
with black beans, but in a taco.
Okay.
And so I was just like, this is really cool. Let's do 700. And we won. So
You did?
We won. Yeah,
well, let's do
do.
700. You make it sound easy, but 700 is a lot,
It's
especially
a
when you're doing
lot.
them fresh. You can't just make them and set them in a box and haul them.
No,
yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was an idea that kind of came together and it took off, and it was recently in a AAA magazine, and
Oh, wow.
The pictures are just beautiful. So
Okay, so here's what I want you to tell me, because when I saw this, I had to stop, go back, check, look, blow it up. I wasn't sure. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
no.
Your skulls on your tortillas.
Oh gosh.
So let me
Okay.
set the scene here. I was going through social media like I always do, and I thought I saw skulls on tortillas. I'm
Yeah.
like, I was going like this, and I was like, whoa. I did go back. And I missed it again. I'll go back because I was trying to, find it. And sure enough, I said, no way. So I blew it up. I'm like, yeah. And I said, who is this? And I was you. So tell me how you did that.
Okay. Well, we're still trying to figure it out. It was
You're
just
still trying to figure it. Look great to me.
We're still trying to figure it out. What they are they're called Tortillas Ceremoniales, which translates into ceremonial tortillas.
Ceremonial tortillas.
And they date back, hundreds of years. And what people do in these small towns or villages, it's a mesquite wood trunk, and they carve out kind of like their emblem for their family.
In Mexico, you're talking Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
And they use a specific ink, a paste. I still don't know what they use, because it's not secretive, but it's kind of like a family heirloom that they keep close to their hearts. And when they're doing baptisms or birthday parties, something really special, they're inviting people over to their house. It's an offering, kind of to show gratitude that people are there. So for Day of the Dead, we want
Dia de los
to...
Dedos Muertos.
Yes, we want to have an offering for the souls that have gone and passed. And so we have a big party. And I thought, what a great idea it would be to have an offering. And so I learned we're still perfecting it, the technique from the chefs that we brought in from LA. I noticed that she was doing it on her tortillas for the pop-up that we did.
So you saw it too.
And I saw it, and I was like...
Did you go, wow?
Did
you do what I did?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just like, I was in shock. 'Cause
I was too.
I've been wanting to learn
I was like,
this.
what the hell?
And like I said, it's so easy to pull something off the internet and just copy it.
Right.
But I wanted to know exactly what it was. So my pastry guy that I have at the restaurant, I was like, get over there, figure it out. We need to learn more. Because I was just running around like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what is that? Okay, you get over there, figure this out. And so we're still trying to figure out the mixture, because there's a very fine line in the ratio of what we're doing. And
Okay, so so slow down here. Let's back the thing up a minute. So if you want to make this,
yes,
you make the masa, you make your tortilla. Now,
Yeah.
when you do this, when you put that skull or you put any kind of rendition in there, do you do it after it's cooked or while it's cooking?
after it's cooked.
After it's cooked. So
After
you
it's cooked.
make the masa, you make the tortilla, then you can kind of like an ink stamp on envelope. Not maybe not that
Yeah.
simple, but so that's when you do it. I wasn't sure if you were doing it before and then baking it. I wasn't sure how to do it.
No. Excuse me.
Are you okay? Oh, you need some water? Okay, Ron, get some water. Okay. Sorry. Get some water real quick. Okay. You all right? Don't down me before the water gets here.
No. Yes, but it's a lot of work.
Okay.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Okay. But it's something you're going to learn, though.
Oh,
And it's going to perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good.
It's making an appearance this weekend.
Is it really? When?
Meat fight.
Oh, that's right. Meat fight.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't. I'm not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. OAQ. Sorry about that.
I got all excited talking about tortillas.
Yeah. Well, that's about how I was when I saw them. I was that excited. That's how excited I was. And they're not even my tortillas. Oh, that's good TV, though, see?
Yeah.
As long as you don't die on set.
I have to go back to work.
People pay good money to have situations like that on camera.
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay, so you're gonna perfect it and just make an appearance this weekend on everything, or just for a certain deal you're doing at Meat Fight?
Just for a certain deal we're doing at Meat Fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's gonna be neat.
Yeah.
I'm
really excited
You're
about
gonna
that.
take pictures, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So you who does all your social media? Do you do it? Do you take your pictures? Because you do a very good job with that.
Thank you.
So when they look at Jose, you're Instagram and Facebook. What are you more prevalent on? Are you on Twitter at all?
I it's too fast. Twitter's like a lot coming at you
Bam, 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 bam.
all the time. So no, I just share it from Instagram to everywhere else.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So people can see it there. So let me ask you. So what in your mind, or how you feel about it? What's the most memorable thing to you that made you become a chef? That you said, I want to be a chef. That's what I want to do. That made you passionate. That drove your passion to go to culinary school and be a chef. What was your main?
I think it
deal?
was making Thanksgiving. I was kind of forced to do Thanksgiving one year, and I opened up like a Bon Appetit magazine, and I just started following recipes, and I at one point I was just like, I can't follow this recipe. It's taking forever. I'm just gonna do it, and I winged it, and it was better. And I thought, I need to just do this. I need it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna do it. And my mom was like, you're going to school. You if you're gonna do this, you're gonna go to school, and you're gonna go to the best one there is. And at the time, it was CIA.
Right.
And
is it still that way? In your opinion?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. El Centro is amazing. El Centro in Dallas is pretty amazing. Steve DeShezzo does a really good job over there. I have 2 El Centro students with me now. But I'll never forget leaving and pulling out of the garage, the driveway, and my mom saying, whatever you do when you leave there, when you get there, if you make tacos and enchiladas, I don't care, but let them be the best tacos and enchiladas that Dallas has ever seen. And I thought, I'm going to be French classically trained. I'm never going to make tacos and enchiladas. Are you crazy, woman? And here I am.
Making tacos.
17 years later. Making tacos and enchiladas.
I have to ask this. Is your mom still alive?
She is, yes.
That's awesome. So she comes to your restaurant?
She's Parkinson's. She's in her 16th year of Parkinson's. So she doesn't get out as often, but I bring her food.
So she gets to eat it, though?
Yes. So, yeah, she's very, very proud. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, embarrassingly proud.
Embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. She'll send my brothers out to, 7-Eleven to get any article I'm in, or, print out any magazine. Or
she's going to love this show then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's great. She's my #1 fan.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And children?
2.
2.
Yes. I have a bonus daughter who's 9.
What's a bonus daughter?
I inherited her when we got married.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
good.
I don't
Bonus
know,
daughter.
Stepdaughter just seems so, I don't know, informal or formal. So
yeah, I never have liked that word step. Have you?
Yeah.
I don't like the word step.
Yeah.
I don't like it
So
either.
she's 9, and Isabella from a previous relationship I have is 6. She'll be 7 on Christmas Eve.
So what as a parent, what's your most challenging thing as a parent? The time?
It used to be time. We both have really great schedules to where they spend time with their other parents. So it works out that they get enough time with us and they get enough time with their other parents. I think the most challenging thing is getting them to eat what we like.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
See, that's good.
I think because when we were young, we ate what was on the table.
Yeah.
And if we didn't.
Oh, yeah. You didn't eat.
You got an apple on the
And
way
I ate it all.
to bed.
Yeah, if I eat all, my dad would slap me in the back of the head and say, "You're not leaving the table till you finish it."
Yeah. So I think that is kind of a challenge.
Boy, have times changed.
Absolutely.
There's a commercial on TV where they're trying to feed this kid. I laugh so hard. I mean, see, but he's sitting there. He goes, "I'm allergic to all things green." Oh my God, it's so funny. They're going through it's like 4 or 5 things. And I'm thinking that
Yeah.
my dad would have knocked Okay, my dad would have knocked me would
Oh,
have,
yeah.
would have knocked me off, knocked my arm off of the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if people want to find Jose, how do they find it? All the social media. What is it?
Jose on Lovers.
Jose on Lovers.
On Instagram.
On Instagram, Jose on Lovers, not Greenville.
Not Greenville.
I don't know why I said that.
We might. Who knows?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
might,
do you
yeah.
know something I don't know?
So Jose on Lovers and your social media, Facebook, same thing. Jose on Lovers, and then your AQ Pittman, obviously, and then what's the website for Jose? Jose, just Jose.com.
Jose.mx.
Jose what?
.mx.
.mx. They're all on .coms now, so you got to go to other services, right? That's pretty good. Okay, and you're going to be at Meat Flight this weekend in Dallas.
Yes.
You're excited about that?
Super excited.
That's
very,
awesome.
very excited. This is my 6th year as a competitor.
Give me a 50-second deal on Meat Flight, what it's about, so people know.
It is a barbecue barbecue competition that takes local area chefs who know nothing about barbecue,
Right.
and we smoke
crazy.
meat all night and all day, and then
Lots of meat.
Lots, 5 pounds of meat. Well, you will eat 5 pounds as a guest. We smoke 70 pounds
A piece, each chef, 70 pounds. 70 pounds they smoke each.
Yeah, and all night. So tomorrow night we'll be out there all night, and then Sunday we serve the public, and all of the proceeds go to MS Research.
Yeah, MS, that's right. That's right. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it. And I'm excited. I'm going to get to Jose myself. I can't wait to get over there. I promise
Yeah.
I'm going to get there. I was trying, but I told you the story. I've had big events. I mean, I'm only one guy, and I refuse to post anything or say anything about something I have not personally tried. Even if I have 5 people with me, or call me and go, hey, this is great. I'm not going to post about it unless I go try it now. If I've tried 4 or 5 of your dishes and you make a new dish, I'll post a dish that you've made because I understand it's going to have a great flavor profile too. It's going to taste good. It's going to be fresh. But until I know that, so I have to go everywhere. A guy was asking one time. We've made as many as 30 places in 4 days.
Oh my goodness.
And I used to try to eat everything. Now I don't do that anymore. Now I eat 4 or 5 bites and I say, because I just can't eat everything.
Yeah.
I just got to get the flavor down and get it done.
Yeah.
So we'll get there, I promise you. If you're trying to get a hold of us, Trey'sChowdown.com. If you're listening to us or watching us for the first time, and obviously it's all around us because I love myself. You see all the logos around here. Trey's with the E, not with the A. You can find us at Trey'sChowdown.com. And we launch in about 12 days on TCN Network. You'll be able to find us on the TCN Television Network, which we're super excited about. I'm passionate about what I do and I love. I love telling everybody about chefs and great food, so I'm happy to be part of the TCN family.
Thank you.
It's going to be a great deal. And I appreciate you coming. We're going to get Daniel. It's Daniel, right?
Yes.
We're going to get, what does he go by?
Daniel.
Daniel,
Pittman.
okay. Mm-hmm. Chef Daniel or Chef Pittman or what?
Just Daniel.
He doesn't tell me, call me chef.
No.
Okay. We're going to get him on. And I'll see y'all this weekend. We're going to be at the rib roast up in east of Arlington. And look it up. It's at the Rib Roast, the Veterans Deal on social media. Just type in Rib Roast Arlington. It's going to pop up there. And we'll see y'all next week. I don't remember what my guest is because I don't have a sheet on me. But we'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching. Check you. I'm Trey Chapman, publisher of Trey'sChowdown.com. I'm passionate about finding the best food, drinks, and chefs and sharing it all with you. I should know I have over 5 decades of food experience. Find me on any podcast platform, Facebook Live, or just Google me. Now you can watch and listen to all my great finds every week on my live TV and radio podcast at Trey's Chowdown Live.